Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ham Radio Basics Live, Season 3, Episode 32, Ham Radio News and Updates, 9/10/2025. Welcome, Cooley, Andy, Waypoint, New England. Thank you guys for stopping by. And yeah, I wanted to comment on this right away here. For those of you who are, so inclined and follow conservative politics, Charlie Kirk, who was head of Turning Point USA and a supporter of President Trump, and who engaged students on college campuses, apparently it's official, and I did see it. He was shot in the neck and he passed away from his wounds. And yeah, it's really sad. Just really, really sad. And I hate to start off the show like this on a downer note, but for those of you who are watching on Twitter as well, you're welcome to engage. I have posted the YouTube link. It's posted in there. So if you want to feel free to join the conversation, please do so. It's very somber, very sobering. And this needs to stop. And I'm just going to call it like it is here. It's just this type of violence needs to end, period. And yeah, and say what you will, I could say a lot right now. This isn't a political show, but pray for his family. He has a wife, 2 young daughters, and many people, many followers. I followed him as well too. Was a Christian, and just an incredibly sad day for our country, a sad day. Violence needs to end, and this rhetoric needs to end, and just we need to move on. We need to move on. We can't do this anymore, folks. We just can't do this anymore. And just really incredibly sad. I don't know what else to say about this. It's really shaken me up. And this happened about an hour ago, and was clamoring for information. And unfortunately, I saw a video of the shooting, and it was bad. It was really bad. Very somber, very sobering. Pray for his family. And pray for our country. We need to overcome this, and we need to stop this in its tracks. And let's get going to ham radio and talk about something ham radio wise here. So one of the things I wanted to do this week, I have several videos that I want to go over here with you, just to show you some of the ones that I've seen. Okay. Jason did a video. He went to a ham fest in Arkansas at Queen Wilhelmina State Park. Excuse me. Apparently it was pretty foggy. And you get to see that in the video right there. I'm sorry here. This is a really good video. It's Professor Jim. He's from our good friends at Ham Radio Prep. And he went to a ham fest, and he called it the Boneyard. Excuse me. I'm sorry. He went to the Boneyard, or swap meet, and he tried to, on the less expensive side, try to build a 100-watt HF station on a budget. And it was really incredible, some of the finds that he was able to find at this ham fest. It was amazing what he was able to do. Found a receiver, a power converter, coax, and an antenna, and he got it. He priced it up. It was all about $870, which I think was absolutely fantastic. Just did a great job with that. So I would highly recommend that you guys watch this video, and it gives you an idea of some things. There's some older rigs out there now. This, I think it was a Kenwood rig, transceiver, that was there for $500. And one of the things I want to, and most of you guys know this already, but a lot of really good ham fests, and I'm pretty sure Huntsville does it. I'm not sure about Hamcation or Hamvention, but they have an area where you can test used equipment before you buy it to make sure it powers on, because nothing could be more devastating than to buy something used, you take it home and it's deader than a doornail, and you paid what, $500 for it, and it's not working. And that way, that avoids that. So if that's possible to do that, I would I would I would highly recommend doing that before purchasing something like this, because again, you don't know if it's even going to power on. Um, Getting things like the coax and the antenna, those are probably, one of the things I would recommend, and Jim talks about it here, especially, like with the coax, I would get new coax just for grins and giggles, and you don't have to get the top of the line. Especially, if you're doing HF and you're running that cable from your antenna to your rig, it doesn't have to be top of the line. And especially in the antenna, as well as an end fed halfway, buy a new one, because you don't know, yeah, there could be cuts, there could be bends, it could be breaks, that kind of thing. I would just avoid. I would go ahead and get new there. Now the power supply, you would want to get that tested as well too, because again, you don't know. And the other thing that you would need to do would be to go out there and search, and I would use like something like Chat GPT or Grok to go out there and look for a manual on that transceiver, because you're going to need one, and you're going to need to do that, because a lot of times when you go out there, now some guys are really good. They'll keep the box and the manuals and everything and sell that. Other ones just have the rig, and it may be second or third hand. They may be like the second or the third owner for that. And of course, they don't have that type of information. So you want to do something like that as well. And you can kind of tell, some of the age of some of these things. This one looks like it was pretty well cared for, and it was a good price. And again, the big thing is I would defer to testing these before I would get something like this. I've always had, personally, for me, I've always had bad luck in buying used things, whether it was a used car or something used off of eBay. It just has not gone well for me. So that's why I have a tendency to get new things. But it gives you some food for thought, and it really kind of helps you, when you go to these events and you go out there and you're looking at a lot of these things, you want to make sure that, you can judge a lot by those persons that are selling these things. If they're disinterested or if they're really interested, usually can tell. If they're engaging and they're real interested. I'm not saying that that's generally a pretty good sign that this equipment had been taken care of. Now, a lot of times, they may be selling someone else's equipment there for them, so you don't really know. But usually, you want to get up there. And a lot of who Jim engaged, they're very talkative, very friendly, very engaging, and I think that's really a good sign for buying things off of them. And again, I would definitely get something like a power supply and also a transceiver. I would test those to make sure they're working and that they power on. Uh, at the very least, okay. You don't have to make sure that you're picking up stations or anything. You want to make sure it's going to power on, and you turn the dial around, and frequencies are changing, and just some basic functionality is working on that. Because otherwise, you get it back home and it's DOA. That's yeah, you don't know what's going on there, and you got to send it to somebody, and hopefully they can get it up and running for you. But no, this is a good video. I would highly encourage you guys to go ahead and watch that. It throws some good ideas out there in terms of being able to save a lot of money. And especially, and I think Jim really hits it, you can get a decent antenna and coax, for not much money, and that's exactly what happened in this instance. But something like a transceiver, if you look like an Icom 7300, they're right around $1,000. And very welcome, thank you for stopping by this afternoon. So and not and again, the whole point of this exercise is to go out there and to try to find one that's going to be budget friendly. And as Jim did there, this is well under $1,000 for everything here. So it gives you some things to think about, gives you some ideas. Take it for what it's worth. Again, but again, with used equipment, for me, I always have an extra flag of caution up there for something like that. It just that's who I am, and that's how it is for me. Now, The next one is, I almost always have a video from Walt, and in this instance, absolutely have this. Checking HF band conditions. We're going to cover this here in a little bit, because I want to take you to both of these sites, SolarHam, and then the information that they have out on QRZ, and kind of go from there and show these to you. But it's a great video. I would highly recommend that. Walt really breaks it down very succinctly, simply. It's very easy to understand. And I think this is something, and I'll say it before I get into looking at these sites. I think one of the things that you need to do is you need to have, every time that you go out, whether you're going to do POTA, SOTA, or you're just going out to play radio, or you're playing radio at home, you want to check the band conditions, because oh, I can't get anybody on 40 meters, blah blah blah, and a lot of times you're taking a look and saying, holy crap, look at the solar conditions. No wonder why I wasn't able to make any contact on that. And this is why I highly encourage you to do that. If you're going to be spending a day on your radio, check your radio band conditions. And we're going to get out there and do that here in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and look. Now, Jason did another one here. I activated a lighthouse. He did POTA from, I guess, lighthouse activation here. So something very, very, very interesting. Now, this was something I went out there. Now, most of you know that we talked quite a bit about the Yaesu FTX1 Optima, and Yaesu put together a separation kit, and I think it's 5-foot and 10-foot cable to be able to hook up the head to the main body of this. Well, I went out there to do a search out on YouTube. I couldn't find any videos. This was the only video I found. This is a gentleman over in the UK. He just talks about the kit and what it is. But I wanted to see if somebody's actually done this, and apparently nobody has, or if they have, they haven't put a video out on YouTube about this. It just really, it really kind of floors me, because a lot of people were talking about this and saying, we want to, this is something, we want. And Yaesu listened to everybody, and they built this kit and they put that out there, but yet there's no videos out there. So, I wanted to see something that was working. I wanted to see something that I could say, show you guys and say, watch this video. You can find out how it works, see how it is, and go from there. But one of the things that I've said already about this, okay, the 5-foot, that's meaningless, okay, to have that 5-foot cable. I don't even know why they did that. The 10-foot cable's okay, but I'll tell you what, if you're mounting that, the base unit in the back, say under a seat in the back, like if you have a truck and you're running that cable forward, 10 feet is not a lot here, okay? James, welcome. Thanks for stopping by this afternoon. Even 10 feet, you're really kind of cutting that close, okay? I thought at a minimum it should have been something like 15 feet, because you don't realize how much cable it takes up to run that from something, from say under that rear seat. You may have to go to the side, you may have to snake it through other areas to get it up there. And it's, it's really going to be pushing your luck even with 10 feet. So that's a reason why I wanted to see somebody that had done this, and that were and their, and what they encountered, any pitfalls or anything. Because I think it's a great idea. But I want to see it working. I mean, seriously. I mean, the whole idea is everybody was asking for this. Yaesu delivered, but there's nothing out there on YouTube. So if any of you guys know of anything, shoot me an email at hamradiobasics@gmail.com, or let me know on Twitter or my other social media as well. Post something out there on Ham Radio Basics on the page or on the group to let me know if there is a video. Send me a link to that, because I'd really like to see that. I mean, I just really think that would be really interesting. And again, I also posted a link for SolarHam out there. Not a lot of people have that link available to them. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. Now, what we're going to do here is, let's look at, all right. we're going to look at the first one that we're going to look at is what you see on QRZ's page. And let's go ahead and do this. All right. Paul Herman from Sierra Vista, Arizona, solar data banners and widgets. And you can see right here over the side, solar data properties. Okay. Now, I have a tendency to agree a lot with Walt, and I think he's right in this instance as well, too. Yeah. Exactly, James. Exactly. Yeah. And that's a really good point. That is a really, really, really good point here. Okay. What you're seeing over here to the left, and I don't know if you can see my cursor isn't showing up here, but it does show HF conditions. For example, 80 to 40 meters, day, fair, night, good, 30 meters to 20 meters, good and good, 17 meters and 15 meters, fair, fair, 12 meters and 10 meters is fair, poor. In VHF conditions, it's a band closed, band closed, band closed. EME degree, good. Geomagnetic field, quiet. And again, a lot of these are widgets that you can incorporate in your own web page here. And this is something down here as well. HF and VHF, no band condition calculations, large vertical selection. Again, these are widgets that you can put in for other sites. This has a tendency to not be as accurate as solarham.com. So, if you want to get a quick read on things, the solar data propagation is okay, but we're going to go to solarham.com. I think that should be something, again, if you're going to go play radio for the day, you need to get out there and you need to take a look at that. Okay. And let's go ahead and share that. Okay. Now, I can tell you right now, they're really kind of asking for a fundraiser for this. And the link provides a link for that. You can see Solarham fundraiser to run it for the next 3 years. Please click here for important message. 338 supporters, 81% to go. Thank you. And take a look here. And it really breaks a lot of this down. There's quite a bit of this that I'm going to say right now over the head. But a lot of this is real easy to try to interpret a lot of this information right here. Okay. Sunspot summary, stable, 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 declining, declining, stable. You take a look right here past 24 hours. KP index, A indices, magnetometers, auroral oval forecast for the South Pole. Flare events. This is quite a bit of information here. Some sunspot activity. You read the middle latitude coronal hole, site information, and he lists some data sources, what he uses for a lot of this. HMI intensity, HMI magnetogram coronal holes, AI 131, SUVI. This is really, really really incredible here. Let's take a look at this solar report. Take a look at this right here. This is some information. Space weather alerts. And this is from NOAA. Real-time solar wind. And it's showing some data right here. Protons and electrons. Solar proton flux, solar flare detection. Satellite environment. And then KP index, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Again, this is put out Space Weather Prediction Center from NOAA. 3-day geomagnetic forecast. Click on a detailed forecast right here. and it lists the time, September 10th, 11th, and 12th. Looks like the 11th and 12th are going to be quiet as far as that's concerned. Upcoming moon phases. I mean, this is a lot of great information, but for me, in going through this, I'm looking like, oh wow, this is great information. I would have a tendency to go with what's out on QRZ, even though it's not as accurate. The accuracy of it can be kind of questioned at times. But you have a quick guide right here, and for example, HF conditions. You can tell them out there. Solar flare index. It lists some numbers here, but you look at the core HF conditions right here. Band day and night. The HF conditions. Solar flare probability. Geomagnetic field quiet. Current solar image right here. So that's something I would highly recommend that you guys do. Look at both of those. If you understand the solar watch, that's great. I personally, I think a lot of that information is very specific and very much over my head. James, thank you for that link. Appreciate that. That's something that's kind of over my head, and I'd still recommend looking at it. But with something like that, you're probably going to need to engage something like ChatGPT to help you with that and to be able to decipher what all that information means. I mean, it's some great information out there that's put out there by NOAA. That's fantastic. But Dr. Tamitha Solov, I think is her name, she has a report out there that she puts every day, and it's out on X, on Twitter. That's something else. And I was trying to remember what that was, and I couldn't find that in time for the broadcast. But that's something else that you want to look at as well. And that'll definitely help you. You do want to go out there before you go out there, before you go. Scops. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. You do want to go out and you do want to engage, whether it's this, from QRZ or Solar Ham or Dr. Tama Scob. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. Out on X. Her information is really good. I think it's very concise. It's detailed enough, and she makes it so you can understand it. So that's something I would probably steer towards versus even QRZ or the Solar Ham. Dr. Scob does a great job with that, and she has like a daily forecast out there. And I would definitely engage her, follow her on X, on Twitter, and be able to get that information out there. So that's all I have for today. And again, I want to close. Pray for our country. We really need a lot of prayer. We really do need a lot of prayer, and we need for this violence to stop. We really do. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week. As always, guys, it's a great day to make a QSO. 7 3s, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend.